Hey everyone, Bradley tuning in. For any of you who missed it, last week we were in the East Coast, Sandra and myself. We had a blast, an awesome time. She did amazing. She's carrying a baby, but we still were able to travel 2,500 kilometers in 10 days, which is quite the feat. So we had a great time, not at all relaxing, but totally worth it. We're very happy to be home, and I'm excited to bring you guys more topics. If you're getting value, please make sure you like, make sure you comment. Leave your comments because I really want to hear from you, and I'm also going to post some questions for you guys because I want to get this interaction going in some of your expertise as well. But what I want to talk about originally, my game plan coming back was to speak on where we've been this month. We're coming to the end of August, and where I think we're going to be going in the next 6 months. I will do that, but I saw a post. Being in the industry, I have a lot of contacts that are constantly giving information and little tidbits. And I had one come from a friend of mine, Mark Albert. He helps me with a lot of my clients on doing their financing deals, the mortgages, and other financial planning stuff. And he posted this specific article that I really think could be the single biggest change that we're going to see in real estate in Ontario in 2019. This year, it was that foreign buyers tax that really kind of threw everything off. In a different way, I think in 2019, this single-handedly could change the way we do real estate in Ontario forever. And what is that? So as you saw in the title, it is going to become mandatory for us to do energy audits in Ontario. It's a brand new project. No province has done this. We're just starting it now. But all homes, new and old, big and small, will be required to do this energy audit before they can list their home. Now, the best way that I can explain this is looking at something like an e-test on our car. Right? When we buy a vehicle, the government requires us to do an e-test, a transmission test on the car, and that information is given and shared with the buyer. Now, in the same way, if we're doing it for a $1,000 car, why not do it for a $100,000 vehicle? And so here we go. So what is this exactly going to look like? I want to give you the insight. Now, all of these videos that I post are designed to give you tips and tricks, what's going on in the market. But in a different way, I think this is another step forward, and it actually makes you sound smart because not many people are talking about it. So when you're sitting with your family at Christmas, you're having a dialogue, many times real estate comes up. It's a pretty hot topic, especially this year, and it's just going to make you sound smart. If you really love your family, you're going to see them at Thanksgiving as well, and oh my goodness, you're going to have so much content. So I just want to fill you guys with content, fill you guys with different talking points. And this one, I think, like I said, could be a game changer. So let me talk about what's this going to look like. Now, an audit, they do happen today. We just don't see them very often because they're not mandatory. But they can run you in the neighborhood between $400 to $600. And with that, the government has said, okay, when we do this, we're going to cover the cost for the first 2 years. Great. But what that says to me is that 2020, be careful because you're going to be getting hit with a tab when you go to list your home of that amount. And it's of course going to have other implications as well. But the way this would look is we would have this test be done. You'd have this audit, this guide come through. You're going to have some kind of regulated rate, which would then need to be posted on the MLS on the listing. So now it actually is good in that it gives buyers more information on what they're purchasing. They know ahead of time what their efficiency of the home is, which isn't bad. But of course, it's at the cost of the sellers. And it also creates, with more information, creates a more difficult challenge for people when they're going to list their home. And it's just another thing that's being added to these sellers. So, of course, like I said, Ontario is the very first to do this. And with that, there's a lot of unknowns. And I want to talk a little bit about what I think those will be. First off, are we looking at every 5 years? Are we looking at every 10 years? Are we looking at every time you list your home? There's still some uncertainty on what that's going to look like. My question for friends that are involved in environmental sustainability, my question to you guys, is it actually going to have an impact on the environment? I mean, there's different perspectives on if the e-test has helped, but do you think this will actually help? Because all of this is part of a bigger provincial plan to meet its climate change goals by 2020. And this is just one little aspect of all of that. But I'm curious to know if it'll actually help. Of course, the ratings on homes are going up. But I think where at least I am certain is in the older homes or heritage homes, I know what impact that's going to have on those guys. Typically, 9 times out of 10, when you own a home that's older, when you own a home that was built a while back, they don't have the same R value, they don't have the same efficiency, energy efficiency as the ones that are being built today, of course. So what that's going to look like is when you go to compare these listings, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. right? Unless they're going to go to the effort of pumping all of this money, which is going to be quite substantial to try and get them in line with the ones that are being built today, or up to the standard and whatever that standard will look like at the time. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. Strategize at your own will. Of course, we all have our own timelines. We all have our own plans, investment properties, our own home. What does that look like for you? What kind of strategy do we need to start rolling out now? Like I said, this year, I think the foreign buyer's tax was really the stamp, a big change that we saw, but I think this could be, the reason I threw out all my other topics and jumped on this one is I think this could single-handedly be the 2019 change of the year for the industry. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but it seems to be coming down the pipes pretty quickly. I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when, and I think we need to be prepared. So I'll leave that with you. I promise in the coming weeks, I will give you guys updates on what's going on as more information comes out, but also some strategies on where, and predictions on where I think the market will be going in the next 6 months. I'll leave it there. Take care, guys, and keep it real.